Hello and welcome to today's Mini Mash Bites, making resources for early years. It's worth noting that you can make resources for early years both in Mini Mash by clicking on the logo and going down to the Teacher Tools option, or alternatively you can find the same options for resources in the Tools area of Purple Mash, scrolling down within the Tools area and clicking on the To Do It Yourself. Here you'll have access to the majority of the different resources that we'll look at today, and further down there are some really useful help videos which may help to further give you guidance and support as to how you can use these with your children. If you are creating the resources within the Mini Mash area, I recommend creating a tray first so that you have a place to save these resources that you're creating. To create a tray, click on the trays area and select the plus icon. And I'm just going to call this My Resources. You may wish to give your tray a picture. I might just add a picture of an astronaut. I can change the colour as well if I like. So now I've got a space where I can save any of the resources I make, and I can use these and pin them up to the Mini Mash pins whenever I want the children to interact with them. Right, so now that I've got a place to save the resources I'm going to create, I'm going to demonstrate today how you can create these resources from the Mini Mash menu. Clicking on the logo, I'm just going to click on the Teachers Tool option. And you'll notice we have those same options from within the Purple Mash to Do It Yourself area. So as you can see, there's a whole range of different resources. With today's session being a Mini Mash Bite, we're just going to go through a few of them. But as you can see, you may wish to find different activities to use with your children. And those help videos within the Purple Mash area are a really useful starting off point. The first one I'll show you is how to use the My Jigsaw tool. Upon opening My Jigsaw, you will be presented with a couple of options as to which size jigsaw you would like to make. I'm happy with the 6-piece, so I'm going to press OK, and you'll notice that I've got a completely blank screen. So this is where I can either use the drawing tools and create my own image that the children will piece together, or I can choose from the clip art library, or I can even upload my own content. So I'm going to do that. My class are going to be looking at Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload a picture that I found on the internet, and I'm going to click the Browse Computer option. You obviously do have the choice to find any images in any other trays within Mini Mash as well, should you wish to use those. So it might be quite nice for children to piece together an image that they have created and get somebody else to see if they can get all the pieces and create their picture. But I'm just going to click this porridge option, select open, and you'll see that it will put it into my editing tool area. So I want to zoom in a little and remove these black spaces from either side of the image. So I can do that, and I can click on the image and move it around until I'm happy with its location. I can also add markup tools if I want to add any text, or if I want to add any particular references to things to point out to. I can use the drawing tools, the fill, the pencil and paint tools. But I'm happy with it as it is at the moment. So if I press OK, then I've now got my jigsaw ready. And if I click play, this will be how the children will view it. You'll also find that when I click play, it comes up with some instructions. So I'm going to add some information in just a short moment to that. So here you'll see, for example, we've got all the different pieces of the puzzle have been chopped up randomly, placed around the side of the image area, and the children can piece together the relevant jigsaw pieces. So obviously if they're working on a touch device, they can use their fingers. If they're using a computer, they can use the mouse to manipulate the pieces into place. You'll notice, for example, by default we've automatically got a timer on there. That's something that I'm going to want to remove for when my children play the game. So to do that, I'm going to click stop, and I'm now going to adapt my settings so they're relevant to my children. So I'm just going to call this porridge. We've got the picture there already. If I want to, I can change any of the colours. I can change any of the font style, for example. And I can make it look as appropriate as I need to for my children. If my children might struggle to read the text information, what's really useful is I can record a message here by clicking on the microphone option. I can then select record, and then I can verbally explain to the children about how they would need to complete this puzzle. The one thing I showed you was a timer. I'm going to want to remove that by clicking on the timer icon, and I'm going to select the no time limit option. Obviously, if you do want to increase the time, you can just use the plus and minus buttons accordingly. If you want to change the sound animations, for example, at the moment, it's got this clapping noise when the children complete it. You may wish to remove that, you may wish to change it, it's completely up to you. So you can change the different sound animations to ones that you're happy with. And then when you're ready to save it, because I've created that tray in my trays, I can then find where that tray is, my resources. I might just remove the date and the title, and I'm just going to call this porridge jigsaw. So now that I've got it there in my tray, I can then pin it up as an activity for the children to complete as and when I want to. Another resource I could create would be a pairs game. If I click on the option here, it'll ask me to choose as to the size of the pairs game that I would like. So you can see that we can get quite a lot of them within one game. You can also look at examples of ones that have been previously created and open any previously created pairs games you may have created and just make some small tweaks to them. But I'm going to start from scratch, and I'm just going to choose the 8 cards option and then select choose. So from within here, I need to select my 2 images that the children need to pair together. You may wish to do this with initial sounds, for example, so you could have a picture of a particular icon, and then you might want to have the letter of the initial sound that the children have to match. But today I'm going to stick with the Goldilocks theme, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the children to match different characters from the story together. So to do that, you'll see that the computer has highlighted 2 cards as a pair. So if I select the first one to edit, again, I can either use the drawing tools and I can draw in the box here to create my own. I can take a selfie or use the forward-facing camera on my device. I'm going to choose an image from within Purple Mash and Mini Mash by clicking on the clip art option. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for a picture of a bear. And you'll see we have some photo images and we also have some cartoon ones. So I'm going to choose what I think is maybe Daddy Bear here. And I'm happy with that image. I'll press OK. I'm then going to choose a matching image. So again, I'll do the same thing. I'll search for bear again and select the same image. So now when the children are playing it, those are the 2 together that will be matched. I can then repeat this. So give me a second and I'll get them all matched up. Okay, so I've added the different bears in the story, Mummy Bear, Daddy Bear, Baby Bear, and some porridge bowls. And if I click play, you'll see that this is how the children will then view the game. Again, because it's a blank one, it's automatically inserted the different images from the pair cards into the title screen, and this is blank for me to add some information in a moment. And then this is how the children will play the game. Again, you'll see by default a timer is included. So if you do want to remove that, that's something that you can do in the editing stage. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop that, and I'm going to now go to the little blue and white information icon. So this is where I'm going to remove that timer because I don't want these children to feel they need to be rushed, and I can add my own title. Again, you can add your own voice recording if the children would find that easier to follow when they're conducting their activity. And you can change the different sound animations as well. And maybe here, for example, I might want to just choose which images appear on the side of the screen as well. So when I'm happy with all of that, I can then save it. And if I've saved it, again, I'm currently in Mini Mash, so I can find that My Resources tray, and I can now call it the 3 Bears Pairs game. Pop that at the end. So now within this area, in the trays area, if I click on it, I've got access to the resources that I have made today. And if I would like to pin them up and make them available to children to access from the pin on the Mini-Mash indoor classroom area or the outside playground area, I can select them as pins and then add them from within the pins menu. Also, what's really nice is you can print out any resources that you've made, and because you've saved them on the system, they're there for whenever you need them. So maybe in a year's time, rather than having to redo everything again, you've got them there and they can be used with your new cohort. Again, where we began at the start, just by showing you within Purple Mash, it's quite handy that within the to do-it-yourself area, you'll find that there are really handy helpful videos showing you how you can use the different tools and how you can actually put your own resources into these different types of activities for your class.